Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Bruce, my friends call me Fluff, and today on Riffs, Beards, and Gear, it's time for a new updated 2025 home studio tour. All right, time has come for a new home studio tour. So much has changed. I have mentioned a million times that there was a small studio fire. I had to rebuild everything, and I thought it would be appropriate to kind of take you through everything. The new setup, lots has changed. I know I keep saying that because a lot has changed, as you will see. Let's get into a studio tour. I'm gonna start in the back and just kind of work my way around. Let's get into it. All right, so this is the newly rebuilt home studio setup, and I'll try to take you guys through everything I can as best that I can. And it's pretty different from how it was. I feel like it's much more functional now. But yeah, so I guess I'll start in the corner as I always do. This is the amp shelf and effects. And from the top down is a 1992 PV block letter. This just got back from PV. Shout out to John Fields for basically refurbing it to factory specs for me. It even has some of the new old stock Svetlana power tubes in it now, and it is one of the, if not the best 5150 I've ever heard in my entire life. This is, I just got this from Sweetwater, the used store. Some guy came in and traded this amp in. This is a 1984 2203, and he traded in 3 of them for his wet rig from the 80s or something. Not really sure. This is an interesting head because in the 80s, it appears to have had an extra gain stage added with another preamp tube, and it is a factory 6550 KT88 head, and it has KT88 power tubes in it. I had it gone through by the Sweetwater's amp tech, Sam, and he recapped it for me, retubed it, and it is pushing about 130 watts. It's absolutely insane. We got the KT88s to 70% plate dissipation, which is insane. This is an incredible sounding amp. Next is a new modified series Marshall Plexi. This is just a really great amp. I actually use this a lot for layering and for overdubs when I'm reamping for, you know, a song I'm mixing or something like that. And then we have a Fractal X-Load and a Diesel Herbert Mark III. All of these amplifiers basically go into the N Audio amp switcher, and then the output of the amp switcher goes into the Fractal X-Load, which is just a load box, and that goes line level XLR to the Quad Cortex. And the Quad Cortex can be used for regular guitar patches, bass patches, or to load impulses like I have at the moment. Right now I have it on a T75 Marshall, because I was messing around with it. But yeah, I basically use this to load my cabs, and then I go XLR out into the interface, and I can go stereo out. So if I want to add a stereo effect or something, I can do that in the mix. It's just really utilitarian and clean, and I can have the desktop software up and switch cabs and play around with different cabs. As far as the pedals that are actually on the board currently, this is always kind of changing, but right now I have a TC Electronics Sentry noise gate, Walrus Audio Canvas tuner, an OG MXR Wild Overdrive, the very first one. I have an Analog Man modified Boss Super Overdrive, and then a Maxon ST9 Pro Plus. These 3 are always kind of changing, just depends on what I'm doing and what sound I'm looking for. But the Super Overdrive is absolutely a mainstay. The Analog Man mod, I'm not even sure what does. I found it used and I got a really good deal on it, and I really like the sound of it. It does sound different than the Zach Wild. I can hear you guys in the comments commenting that these are the same pedal. This Analog Man is a little bit more upper mid. The stock one, yes, is essentially a Wild Overdrive, but this Analog Man modified Super Overdrive is definitely different than the MXR. So, you nerds. If you are enjoying this video, chances are that you like gear like I do, and I like to get my gear at Sweetwater.com, the sponsor of this video. Sweetwater has all of the things that you need to be a creative musician. Of course, they have guitars, basses, studio monitors, audio interfaces, but they also carry things to make content like this A7 IV from Sony you can get at Sweetwater. Not a Sony person, they have Canon. They also have Blackmagic cinema cameras as well. They have all of the things to be creative and to be a creator at Sweetwater.com. I will link down below in the description. I have some show posters. Dragged Under played with Pierce the Veil for 3 nights in a row in 2022. I attended, this is my first Warped Tour I ever went to, Warped Tour 98. This is the Used and Dragged Under, played the Ace of Spades in Sacramento. And Dragged Under played with Wage War and Beartooth back a couple years ago in Florida. And I just, you know, sometimes when you would show up to a show, they would have posters in the green room. And so whenever that happened, I snagged them. So we have 2 racks of guitars. We have this rack and we have that rack. So this rack is basically what's turned out to be the Les Paul rack. This is, I'll just start with the first one and move my way back. This first one is a brand new white, Alpine white Gibson Les Paul custom that I put a 20-year-old set of EMGs in, 85 in the bridge and 81 in the neck. I just have always liked that combination as opposed to the other way around. Really, really, really great guitar. It's from the Mod Shop. I made an offer to the Gibson Mod Shop on Reverb and they took it, and I wasn't expecting that. I got the guitar for a song. It's pretty crazy. Next, you guys have seen my Modera. This is a rosewood board Les Paul Custom Black Beauty with you know, the stock Gibson 498T in the bridge and whatever comes in the neck. Then after that is a guitar you guys have all seen before, the Murphy Lab 59 Burst, which is stock. Very, very, very lovely sounding guitar. Next is a newer edition that I got a couple months ago. I bought this guitar from my friend James up at the guitar store, or at Quimper Sound, excuse me, formerly guitar store. This is a VOS gold top, 57 gold top, and it sounds, I got to try it. I was just trying out guitars, and I just couldn't believe how well it played, but how well it sounded. It's very, very throaty. And then lastly, for the Les Pauls, is my 1980 birth year Tobacco Burst Gibson Les Paul Standard that I got for Mishibashi Music in Japan. With it's been refretted now, and I basically had to replace all of the hardware because the bridge was sagging. It was all original, and the problem with an all-original guitar from 1980 is it was all original. So I had it refretted. Currently has a set of Mojo Tone Beau Burchell signature pickups in it, which I really like. We have the Fender P-Bass that I use for tracking all the time. And then keeping with the guitars, we have a baritone Stingray right here. You guys have seen this before. And then we have my my signature models for Ernie Ball Music Band. This is the Iron Swan prototype. And then we have the Grit City Green prototype guitar. These are not serial, these are just the prototypes that I approved. And then we have my original Dragged Under Sparkle custom Ernie Ball Music Man that I did all of the touring with, as well as the Teely Dan single pickup custom guitar that my signature model is based on. It's done a lot of touring as well. Wonderful guitars. I like Ernie Ball Music Mans. Also, there's a PlayStation 5. And we have my Sterling my Sterling rule of thumb red signature model here on the wall that I use often as well. Great guitar. I have this signed Mastodon lithograph that the band signed that Bill sent to me in 2012, I think. I've had this for a really long time. Really cool. Rest in peace, Brent Hines. I guess we'll get to the desk now. So this is my setup. So I have the podcasting studio in Seattle that I shoot with, with Mike. And so this room can be a little bit less set up for video and more set up for audio. And so to that end, I wanted something just clean and I wanted something simple. And notice I don't have the sidecar kicked out here anymore because I used to have this desk set up and it was like an L shape. And I don't have that anymore. I fought myself and I got rid of a bunch of stuff and I wanted just a simple small desk with some really nice monitoring, and that's what I got. So my main pairs of studio monitors are Amphion 215 speakers, and the big boys are Ex Machina Pulsar Mark IIs. These are, in my opinion, the best monitors I have ever heard. Large or small, cost be damned. I bought these Ex Machinas after hearing them, and I was like, I had just a loaner set. Dan, shout out to Dan at Ex Machina. He let me check out a loaner set. These are the loaner set, and I was like, okay, cool. Where do I send the check? Because I sat here and just laughed. They sounded so good. The Amphions sound incredible. They're very, very fast sounding and very clean, and they're just stunning. What else? I guess in the rack. So this is something cool that I didn't have before. So I have a little pull-out rack, and I have an SD card reader, or not an SD card reader, a CFast Express card reader. I have a UTA GB tracker. This is my DI box and reamping box all in one. This is the best reamp DI box money can buy, in my opinion. Shout out to Eric Valentine. M2 Mac Studio Ultra. A couple of M2 drives that are basically central to everything. But I have this on a nice little pull-out drawer. Pop that back in. And then for the actual rack itself, I have a Furman power conditioner. The heart of everything is this Avid Matrix Studio interface, since I did go to Pro Tools last year. And then I have these 4 preamps, and basically what they're for is so I can just get signal into the Matrix Studio, because this is not a traditional, these are basically converters, right? The Matrix Studio doesn't have preamps like you would a prosumer interface, right? So I have the track one for my desk audio, and this is basically a channel strip from SPL, and it has a compressor, so I can compress, I can DS and EQ on the way in, so I don't have to do anything in post for my voice audio. And then these Warm Audio WA73 EQ preamps are just for whatever I need them for, right? So these 3 are just to get signal into my converters, depending on what I'm shooting a video for or demoing, whether that be a processor. Let's say I get the new Helix in, I need a way to get a stereo signal into my interface. This is how I would do it. So basically they're just, general use, general purpose. They can be whatever I need them to be, and they have front inputs, which is key. So I can hook up a mic or XLRs straight on the input, so I don't have to go in the back and fish around or anything like that. And then below that we have the Grace M905 monitor controller, and then the power amp for the Amphions. This desk is a Gator DeskWorks Frameworks. The Gator stuff is just awesome. These monitor stands are Gator as well. Cabling is Gator as well. This is a Sennheiser MKH8060 shotgun mic. And basically I have it so I can sit here, and if I'm working, I can just work. And I use an Elgato Stream Deck a lot. But if I want to fire up a video, I just turn on the camera, and my mic is always set up, and I can just turn on the light, the big key light, and then I'm ready to go. I don't really want to stop and set up if I want to shoot something, whether that is a mix breakdown or whatever. That's just, I just want to go. And then what I always wanted but never had before is a camera mounted up top so I could shoot desktop audio without having a tripod or something around here. So this is keeping the floor space just clean. This is all the wiring that's around the desk is just that, which is so great. It's so clean, so I can go back there if I wanted to. My old setup, I could never walk into the back around this corner. I had to always kind of go underneath, and it was just a real pain. So this way, I can just go. So let's go to the closet here. So the closet used to be just a repository of junk, and I wanted to change that. So I got my old record player. This is Orbit Audio or U-Turn. Or U-Turn Audio Orbit? Yeah, U-Turn Audio Orbit record player. And basically what I like to do, this is my amp. Of course, it's a tube preamp or power amp and a bunch of records. I like to put on a record, and I have speakers up here at the top shelf. And I'll work on a guitar and do string changes with the tech station I have now at the end of the closet. And this is maybe my favorite part of, of the entire new studio. I love this. I never realized how much I worked on guitars. I changed a lot of strings, changed a lot of pickups, etc., etc. And so basically, I have a Focusrite interface hooked up via USB to an iPad, and I have a tuner going. If I'm not doing that, I can just simply put on a YouTube video and basically watch TV while I work on here. It's just great. I love it. Of course, I have copious amounts of strings courtesy of my family over at Ernie Ball. Ernie Ball has always taken extremely good care of me. A lot of strings. I have a lot of guitars. And I also need strings for demo guitars that potentially come in and need new strings before I do the demos. Got a stash of my neck dots here. These are great. And then basically, I just have stuff. Hangy stuff. One of my favorite games of all time is Halo Infinite. And my dear friend Jason Lackey worked on the Microsoft team and got the entire team to sign a poster for me. What we didn't know was it was the week before they all got laid off and fired. So it's kind of a bittersweet every time I look at that, but I love the poster so much. And then I'm only friends with Jason's. And then shout out to my forever homie Jason Burns for making these shelves possible. Basically what we did is we took 3/4 inch ply and we put a cap on them. He put a cap on them. I kind of helped. He did most of the work. And we built these extremely robust shelves because I did have a problem with the last shelving that I had sagging because it was made out of MDF. And this allowed me to do stuff like I have camera lenses mounted underneath. I have the caps mounted underneath so I can just take off a lens and use it with one of the cameras that I have. And I have things like, little sticker drawers and little knick-knack and things like that, and which I never had before. Yeah, this is just a very utilitarian closet now. And it's just extremely functional to a degree that I never had before. I've never had before. So shout out to Jason Burns for helping me make this a reality, because without his help, I could never have done this myself. And his shop is absolutely insane. But yeah, Some pedals. I like pedals. Probably have too many pedals. But yeah, that's basically it. That's my new studio rig, and I hope you enjoyed it. I always forget something in these. Every time I do these, I go, oh yeah, I forgot to mention this or that. So if you have any questions regarding anything in my home studio setup, feel free to leave a comment down below. And with that, you've been wonderful. I've been Fluff. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.